Hi, Scott Orland with Cinema Magazine. 30 years in the making, the Scream franchise, and we're about to enter the new phase, Scream 7. And I am here with the original creator, Kevin Williamson. As they say in The Sound of Music, let's go back to the beginning, where it started. From what I understand, that you had actually read about some college incident of an attack or a murder or something, and it kind of got the wheels in motion for you.
Well, you know, there's like a two-parter to this answer. The first part was I'd written the opening scene as the one I'd play in college. And I'd thrown it in a drawer and done nothing with it. And I don't even think I let people read it. And then I'm in Hollywood, I'm house sitting, and I'm trying to figure out how to get a job in Hollywood. And I'm watching like a Dateline 2020 special on the Gainesville Ripper, Danny Rollins, who was killing college students in Florida. And that was terrifying, scared me. And I was house sitting in a house I didn't know. The windows were open, and I was just freaking out. And I really am scared of the dark. I do have a real fear of the dark. And it came to me. I said, I didn't know where to start. So I pulled out that script, that play, and I read it, and it had an end. It was like, where you saw the opening scene. It's Drew Barrymore dying, and I went, well, that's not the story. The story has to be something else. The story has to be, Halloween has a final girl. Halloween has Laurie Strode. I have to have a Laurie Strode. And so I came up with Sidney Prescott. But
it's interesting. This was taking place in the 1990s. Like back in the 70s, I guess, when you started having Mel Brooks and then the Farrelly brothers and the Abram brothers, they did all these spoofs. So they would take genres and spoof it. You didn't really spoof the horror genre. You kind of kept its tone, but just injected a lot more humor than what we're used to.
Yes. It was, one of the things I was trying to do was, that was who I was as a writer then. That's who I was as a storyteller. So that was my voice. And I just wanted to, and I was, in addition, when you write a script, you never know what's going to get made. You never know if someone's going to actually produce it. And I thought it might just be a sample. It might just be a way to get another job. So I better have my voice in it and show people what I'm about. And that's what I did. And so it was almost like it was a little bit of just sort of a sample to get another job. I didn't know it was going to be bought. I didn't know it was going to get produced. I didn't know Wes Craven was going to do it. I didn't know it was going to become Scream. It was originally called Scary Movie. It was actually called The Spoof, that it became. And we changed the title of it because, Wes read it and goes, is this a comedy or is it a horror movie? And I went, it's a horror movie. And he went, okay, good, I can do it.
I'll compare you to a roller coaster with this franchise. You're with it, then you're not with it. You're with it. Just like Michael Corleone, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, when you have one movie and two movies, that's kind of a fluke. But then it becomes this franchise, and then it's kind of no longer yours. A studio owns it. It's I wrote the movie, they own the franchise. And so everyone cares so passionately about it. And so all the decisions that get made are for the franchise. And how do you keep the franchise going? It is Hollywood. It is a business. It's my part is just to keep it personal. It's my part. My job is to tell a great story, and it's my job to cry over it. That's my part in this. And so, yes, and when you do that, your emotions can go up and down and up and down. So, yes, it can become a roller coaster. And after... when Wes passed, I thought I was out. There's no Scream without Wes, so why would I even be a part of it? I said no to 5. They asked me to be a part of 5, and I'm like, why? What's my place? You have a writer, you have a director, you have a producer. Who am I to this franchise? And they go, well, we need you. And I'm like, why? Just to say it's great and so publicly to say fate? Like, why am I a part of this? And they're like, no, we want you to be a part of it as much as you want to be a part of it. And I went, oh, okay, and I didn't really believe them. And so 5, I was a little skittish, and I was sort of like the +1. And then 6 happened, and I got to know Matt and Tyler, who directed it. Most amazing guys ever. And everyone involved, the producers, the studio, they just pulled me in, and it was so much fun. They made it like fun in a way in which maybe the first round wasn't as fun. Wes and I were stressed out. Wes and I had so much pressure on us from the studio that we were like, aren't we supposed to be enjoying this a little bit? And Wes goes, no, we can't enjoy it at all. We have to work. But this time around, it was a lot of fun. And then when 7 came around and Nev asked me to direct, I was like, well, if I'm going to direct, this is the one. This is the one to do because Nev's back. It's Sidney Prescott's story, and that's the one I should be doing. And so that's why I'm here. And I'm just so happy that it's carried on and that the audience, it's found an audience in every installment in every way possible so that we can have Scream 7. And I'm hoping we'll have Scream 8, and I'm hoping we'll have Scream 20.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but in general terms, there was 7 was supposed to kind of be happening, and then politics kind of got involved and it was sidetracked. And then even Neve Campbell at one point was, because of the economics, they didn't want to respect her enough. And all that seemed to kind of go by the wayside when all that other stuff happened. It's like, wait a minute, we do need Sidney back. And then as Sidney said, we need Kevin back in there. How much did you have to start from ground zero once you became involved in 7 from what was already there?
Well, there was another script that I had read and that, I had sort of been a part of. And that script went away. And then I didn't hear from anybody. I thought, oh, well, the movie's over. We're not going to, I'm sure something will happen one day, but it's not today. And so I had just gone on about my business. And then I got a phone call saying, we're going to ask Neve back. And I went, well, I hope you have a checkbook. And they go, yes, we do. And I was like, okay. And I said, if you can make a deal with her, call me. And and they were like, well, could you call her and maybe ask her if she wants to come back? I go, wait, you want me to do it? No. You go get Neve, and then we'll talk. I said, I'm not going to get into this. You go make her happy and give her what she wants and what she deserves. And I'm sure there's a number where we can all be happy. And next thing you know, I get a call from Neve Campbell going, will you direct? And I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Yeah, it was just sort of kismet, I guess.
It must be quite cyclical to all of a sudden now to have, quote, her daughter in the movie being about the same age that she was in the original. How much do you think this generational, combination adds to the mystique of the franchise?
Well, I think it's what makes 7 special. It is about our, final girl, Sidney Prescott, and it's also about the birth of a new final girl. And I think that mother-daughter relationship is the heart and soul of the movie. And I think it's actually works well because it's the 30-year anniversary. And I think it's a really great way to celebrate this franchise and to celebrate Wes Craven and to celebrate Sidney Prescott. And by sort of showing, who is Sidney Prescott today? Where does she live? What's her life like? Who is she married to? What does she do for a living? How does she parent her daughter? And I think all of those questions get answered in this movie. And it's also quite personal, it's quite emotional, and it's scary and fun. And, we have Isabel May as Tatum, the daughter, and a whole host of new characters that we surround her with. And it's so you get a new Scream, but you also get the nostalgic feel of the original with, that can remind you of 30 years ago.
Let's go back to the beginning, and that is, how are you with the dark now?
I'm terrified of the dark. I still worry about what's in the closet or under the bed, and I still, I'm not good with the dark. I have lights on in my house.
Well, hopefully the lights will be out when you go see Scream in the theaters. Kevin Williamson, is it always such a pleasure, and this is Scott. Till next time.